Lesson 1. Inventions and Discoveries. Page 119. Task 2C. Listen.
The story of Daedalus and Icarus.
In Greek mythology, Daedalus was a famous artist, architect and inventor who worked on the island of Crete. He built a labyrinth where King Minos kept the Minotaur, a terrible monster who had a human body and a bull's head. It was very complicated to find a way out of the labyrinth. Since Daedalus had designed it, he knew the secret. King Minos was afraid that Daedalus would tell someone the secret, so he didn't let him leave the island. But Daedalus and his son Icarus wanted to leave. After a lot of thinking, Daedalus got an idea. "We are going to escape by air." They took some feathers, stuck them into wax, and put them on their arms. They flew above the walls of the prison. Icarus was so happy he could fly that he forgot about his father's advice not to fly too high. He got too close to the sun, and the wax melted. Icarus crashed into the sea and drowned. This story tells us that even thousands of years ago, people wanted to fly. Leonardo da Vinci, 1452 to 1519, was a famous artist and engineer who lived in Italy. He made drawings and descriptions of some very interesting machines that he had invented. He was left-handed, and he wrote all his notes in reverse. You could only read them in the mirror. Among his drawings, there was one from 1488 called Design for a Flying Machine. This flying machine had wings like a bird and pedals like a bicycle. Leonardo wanted to launch his flying machine from Monte Cecere, Mount Swan, in Italy, but as far as we know, he never did.
Listen to the story about the Wright brothers.
The brothers Wilbur and Orville Wright had always wanted to fly. They lived in Ohio and ran a small bicycle factory. They were deeply shocked when they read in the newspapers about the tragic death of Otto Lilienthal, a German who had published a book about the flying of birds. They decided to continue Lilienthal's experiments with gliders. They even tied a glider to a horse which pulled it. After some time, they built the first plane with a petrol engine. They called it Flyer. It had 2 sets of wings and 2 propellers, and the pilot sat out in front in the open air. In December 1903, in Kitty Hawk, Wilbur Wright made the first airplane flight in history, staying in the air for 12 seconds. The same day, he flew 2 more times and managed to stay in the air for 59 seconds. And this was just the beginning of the real history of flying.
Page 121. Task 7B. Listen and check.
One. People first flew in 1903. 2. People first ate hamburgers in 1905. 3. The first European wore glasses in 1310. 4. People first used mobile phones in 1984. 5. People first printed books in 1448. 6. People first watched TV in 1935. 7. People first travelled by train in 1825. 8. People watched the first movie in 1895. 9. People first went to a pizzeria in 1889. 10. People used the first computer in 1941.
Page 138. Task 3. Listen to 4 descriptions.
1.
It is worn to keep afloat on the surface of the water. Some of them are filled with plastic foam. It is shaped like a waistcoat, leaving your arms free. The first inflatable one was used in the British Royal Force in 1940.
2.
It is a device which reflects light from an object. Most are made by putting a coat of silver on a glass sheet. This way of making it was invented in Venice in about 1320. In ancient Egypt, they were made of polished bronze. A convex one is used in a car. A plain one is hung on a bathroom wall.
3. It is a device for turning chemical energy into electrical energy. Some of them are rechargeable. This means that they can be used again if they are recharged with electricity. Some of them are disposable, which means that they are thrown away after they have been used for some time. They shouldn't be thrown in the rubbish bin. Do you know why? 4.
It is a musical instrument which is played by blowing. It is similar to a clarinet, but its body is not made of wood, but of a kind of metal called brass. It was invented in the 1840s by Adolphe Sax, a Belgian instrument maker who lived in France. These instruments are often heard in jazz.
Page 142. Task 6a. Listen about 3 scientists.
We all imagine Galileo Galilei as an old man with long grey hair and fanatic eyes. That idea of him comes from the well-known portrait. But people are always surprised when they learn that Galileo Galilei made his first scientific discovery at the age of 19. This great Italian scientist became a professor of mathematics at the University of Pisa when he was only 21. As a boy, Isaac Newton built a model of a windmill, the sails of which could turn when there is no wind. All people were surprised when they saw it. They could not believe their eyes. But the secret of this windmill was not difficult to discover. In the windmill there was a wheel as in the small cages for mice, and there was a mouse there too. It moved the sails as it ran. When Albert Einstein was a young boy, he thought about what light was. Whenever the rest of the class was studying history, singing, or learning grammar, Albert was looking through the windows daydreaming. His teachers were angry and told him to learn to concentrate on his lessons, but he never did. As he grew up, he passed through his teenage years and into adulthood, but he kept thinking about that question. As a result, he made a number of important discoveries and became a founder of the theory of relativity.
Lesson 2. Nature and Environment. Page 153. Task 2a. Listen to the quiz.
Today, we have 2 teams competing in our Ecology quiz. Here are the representatives of the 2 teams, Lovro and Dora. Lovro, listen carefully. Here is the first question for you. Name at least 2 types of renewable energy.
Well, it's the wind and solar energy.
Well done. 1 point for your team. Now a question for Dora and her team. Name at least 2 consequences of global warming.
The ice at the poles will melt and sea levels will rise. Some islands could disappear then, and there could be floods on the coast.
Excellent! It's more than we asked for. So now it's a draw. Here's a new question for you, Laura. Which of these gases is not a greenhouse gas? Carbon dioxide, methane, or oxygen?
Oxygen.
Right again! And the last question for Dora. Name at least 2 examples of the climate change.
Hurricanes, tornadoes.
Well done! I have to ask one extra question to get a winner. What are the 3 R's of keeping our planet clean? I'll say the first 2 and you will have to say the third. Laura, listen. The 3 R's are reduce, reuse, and…
I'm not sure.
Dora?
Recycle.
Great! So we do have the winner in the end. Congratulations!
Page 153. Task 3A. Listen about the program.
My name is D. West. I am a Director of Environmental Services for the Clean and Beautiful program in Alpharetta, Georgia. Alpharetta has a population of about 19,500 people. I have been the Director of Environmental Services since 1989. My responsibility is to educate the public, including children, about environmental issues. We also have schools here called the Green Schools. These schools were created in 1991. Over 23,000 children attended the Green Schools. These children learn how to protect their environment, clean our lakes and rivers, and how to test the quality of water. The children now know that they should not litter. That means they should not throw their trash in the streets or parks. They also learn that a lot of their trash can be recycled. Things such as tin, steel, and aluminum cans, glass, some plastics, newspapers, and magazines can be made into new products. Office paper, tires, and telephone books can also be recycled. It is not only important for people to bring used products to a place where they can be recycled. It is also important to buy recycled products. For example, in the United States, you can buy recycled paper. We should all look for recycled products when we go to the store. When new homes and buildings are built, the trees that are removed are replanted in parks and on college campuses. The children from the Green Schools help replant these trees. What can you do to protect the environment? Look at what you throw away and try to throw away less. Try to reuse products and don't litter. We all need to work together to keep our world green.
Page 156. Task 6A. Listen to the conversation.
Have you finished? I need to go to the bathroom.
Hold on a second. Can't you see I'm brushing my teeth?
But you've been brushing your teeth for half an hour. By the way, you can turn off the tap while brushing your teeth. You're wasting too much water. You know everything about ecology, saving our planet and whatnot, but what are you doing to save energy? It's all theory with you.
Come on, what's the matter with you?
Nothing. And you left a light on in your room. How about that?
Well, I forgot to switch it off.
But that's not all. You never put the bottles in the bottle bank, and you always bring a lot of plastic bags home. You also take a bus to school. But there's more. You always have a bath and not a shower. You always keep the TV on standby as well. You also turn up the heating all the time instead of putting on a cardigan.
All right, stop it. I finished. You can come in now.
At last.
Look back. Page 170. Task 4B. Listen to the biography.
One can name many outstanding scientists in Ukraine, but I'd like to tell about the man whose name is known all over the world. This is Eugene Paton. He was born in the family of Russian consul in Nice, France in 1870. He was a graduate of Dresden Polytechnic Institute, Germany. But when he came back to St. Petersburg as a famous engineer, architect, he suddenly changed his mind as to his occupation. He became a student of St. Petersburg University, being a famous engineer and having the project of the Dresden railway station to his credit. In a year, he passed all the exams and got a degree of a railway engineer. Paton was the first to found the Soviet School of Bridge Building. He was awarded the title of the Honorable Member of the Ukrainian Academy of Sciences. He decided to change his profession when he was 60. The wish to serve the people made me to take up the new job, the electric welding, he said. He became the founder of the first institute of the electric welding in the world. When he was 80, he headed the design and construction of the first boltless bridge in Kyiv. The bridge is 1,150 meters long and is called after Paton. The Research Institute of Electric Welding is called after Paton too.
Look back. Page 170. Task 4B. Listen to the biography.
One can name many outstanding scientists in Ukraine, but I'd like to tell about the man whose name is known all over the world. This is Eugene Paton. He was born in the family of Russian consul in Nice, France in 1870. He was a graduate of Dresden Polytechnic Institute, Germany. But when he came back to St. Petersburg as a famous engineer, architect, he suddenly changed his mind as to his occupation. He became a student of St. Petersburg University, being a famous engineer and having the project of the Dresden railway station to his credit. In a year, he passed all the exams and got a degree of a railway engineer. Paton was the first to found the Soviet School of Bridge Building. He was awarded the title of the Honorable Member of the Ukrainian Academy of Sciences. He decided to change his profession when he was 60. The wish to serve the people made me to take up the new job, the electric welding, he said. He became the founder of the first institute of the electric welding in the world. When he was 80, he headed the design and construction of the first boltless bridge in Kyiv. The bridge is 1,150 meters long and is called after Paton. The Research Institute of Electric Welding is called after Paton too.
Pages for readers. Page 175. Task 1. Listen and read the text.
A gentle genius.
If someone calls you an Einstein, consider it a compliment. It means that you are compared to one of the greatest minds of the 20th century. Actually, many people believe that he was one of the most intelligent people ever born. He had the IQ, intelligence quotient, of a genius. Albert Einstein was not only a genius, but also a gentleman. He loved music, children, and sailing. He wore his shoes without socks and he rarely had a haircut. He is called a genius because many of his scientific discoveries were far ahead of their time. He is remembered as a gentle person because he believed that all nations should live without war. He often spoke for peace. Albert was born in Ulm, Germany. He was an unusual child. He seemed to be very slow and dreamy, and his parents were worried about him. He started to talk later than most children did. As a schoolboy, he thought a long time before answering questions. But he was far from being stupid. He learned mathematics and loved to use it in thinking about science. He studied physics in Switzerland, where he got his first job. In his spare time, he wrote out some of his original ideas on physics. In 1905, he published an article on his special theory of relativity. It caused a sensation among scientists. In the article, he said that the basic qualities of objects, mass, length, and time, changed when they moved at high speeds, closer to the speed of light. In 1914, Einstein moved to Germany. He got a teaching job at the Royal Prussian Academy of Sciences. 4 months later, Germany went to war. World War I started. Einstein made himself very unpopular because he was against the war. In 1921, he got the Nobel Prize in Physics. He became very famous, almost like a movie star. His picture was in many newspapers, but he was a shy man and didn't like the publicity much. However, when Hitler came to power in Germany, Einstein decided to speak for peace. He said it was wrong for one person to kill another and that all men should refuse to be soldiers. Hitler didn't like any of his beliefs. There was another problem. Einstein was Jewish and Hitler hated Jews. Einstein's life was in danger and that was why he and his wife moved to the United States. During the World